Good afternoon, and thank you for being tuned to Channel 44. I hope you enjoyed the lunch hour fellowship with Pastor Jessica Kayanja. I am Mercy Gashegu Sembatia to bring you this afternoon's business news update together with Livingstone Kawesi for sign language interpretation and translation. We'll start with what's happening in Uganda here. The Uganda Revenue Authority has once again joined the Robert Kayanja Ministries in helping the people of Karamoja through the Robert Kayanja Bucket Initiative. A team from the legal department of the Uganda Revenue Authority, led by Mr. Matthew Mugabe, delivered a consignment that had in it groceries, men's and women's clothes, shoes, among other items that are meant to bless and bring a smile to the people of Karamoja. These also expressed interest in partnering with the Girl Power Ministries in helping young ladies all over the world improve their lives and have a better life.
First of all, we want to thank God for the opportunity to be here this morning. We are part of a bigger team from the legal department. That's the Legal Services and Border Affairs Department of URA. And as you may know, we have been given the freedom, and we thank God for that, for our Commissioner General, to be able to call on the name of the Lord. And we have altars in URA where we come together to pray as staff and to give thanks. Now, within the context of the legal department, we have regular thanksgivings where we come to God and say thank you. Thank you for the month. Thank you for the year. What has been happening in Karamoja is something that the world has taken note of. And this is not the first time we're coming as URA to just identify with the cause, something that's on God's heart. We've been here before, and we shall, by the grace of God, continue to be here. But within the context of the legal department, like I was saying earlier, we had a Thanksgiving at the end of the year. And so we shared the burden about Karamoja and what's happening. And so staff went home and really dug within their homes to just bring everything that they knew could make a difference in the lives of the people of Karamoja. And so they brought these things together over time. And so that's what we've been collecting and bringing together. And the items range right from clothes to shoes, both clothes for men and ladies, shoes for both men, women, and children, some groceries, salt, some toilet paper, and a few other things. So really we are just here to support and to really, like Pastor Robert has been saying, if we need to know where God is, go where people are suffering and they're hungry and they're destitute, and that's where you know that the Lord Jesus is. And like he's been saying, like the Bible says, whatever we do unto the least of those, we are doing unto the Lord. So that's really why we're here. We want to be part of this. And God willing, this is not the last time we shall be here. We're going to continue to encourage people to give because it's an open-ended check.
We just join the rest of the world and the Kayanja Ministries in spreading love. As URA, we do a sacred job in collecting taxes, but we also know that in doing that job there's a bigger purpose in our lives, and that bigger purpose is love. So for us, even as we do our work, we know that there's a group of people that may not have as much as we do, but that we can make a difference in their lives. We can give the little that we have. And so for today, it's just the beginning of a bigger journey. So we want to pray for grace to give more. We want to pray for grace to touch more lives. And as the Lord lives, we'll be coming more and more. We'll talk to other colleagues in the other departments to ensure that we spread the message and that we're able to impact purposefully on God's children. God bless you.
Well, that is very impressive of the Uganda Revenue Authority, and we appreciate all those that are partnering with the Robert Kayanja Bucket Initiative to bring a smile to the people of Karamoja. We continue to call upon you to sow your seeds once again as we deliver the people of Karamoja from a very bad starvation period that had claimed many lives. Thank you for saving the people of Karamoja. Now, moving on, the government of Uganda has maintained its position on the closure of Democratic Governance Facility, expressing how it's not responsible for its downfall. Speaking to the media, the Deputy Attorney General and State Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, Jackson Kafuzi, disclosed that the government acknowledges all the activities and the role that NGOs are playing in this country, but the DGF, the major funder of these organizations, have failed to fulfill its obligations of complying with the existing laws that govern non-government organizations in the country until the government in 2020 took a decision of suspending its operations. However, Kafuzi insists that various remedies have been put in place in ensuring that corruption in this country is addressed, among which include putting in place the State House Anti-Corruption Unit, as well as enacting a law known as the 2020 Leadership Code Tribunal that calls for public servants, civil servants, people on payroll of government to declare their assets for purposes of accountability. The closure of the DGF has significantly affected most civil society organizations to the extent that some are apparently closing their operations in the country.
DGF or any other non-government organization that comes to operate in Uganda, there are rules and regulations to be followed. If that organization does not follow the rules and regulations and operates contrary to what those rules and regulations provide, it cannot operate in Uganda. Two, DGF, with its leadership, they decided to fold and go. As a government, we have no say and they have no hand in their decision to go. Our role was simply to enforce the law as it is. They could have complied and stayed, then they would continue to fund the other NGOs that were beneficiary and they were helping us for policy making. So to this office, the first person who headed it was Nakalema. The current person leading it is called Isoke. It is an anti-corruption arm under State House. In 2020, the Leadership Code Tribunal was operationalized to enforce the Leadership Code Act of 2020, of 202, with a mandate to hear judicial breaches of the Leadership Code. You may want to understand the way the Leadership Code Tribunal operates is that the IGG takes cases and prosecutes them before the Leadership Tribunal. These cases relate to matters such as false declarations, under-declarations, or failure to declare. The IGG determines which cases go to the Leadership Code Tribunal and which cases go to the Anti-Corruption Court. The Leadership Code Amendment Act 2021, which makes it mandatory for the public officers to now periodically declare their assets, incomes and liabilities to the Inspector General of Police, to the Inspector General of Government, with punishments for those that will either delay or declare false information. It has also made provision for other aspects that were not catered for in the amendment in the Act 2022. Right now, every civil servant, every public official is required. Like previously, there were limits. A few leaders would be required to declare, but now everyone earning a salary from government is required to make declarations. That way, they are able to tell that what you own is commensurate to what you earn or what you have accumulated over time. If need be, an investigation, a lifestyle audit can be made. These are some of the measures that have been put in place to curb corruption.
Sea operators have revealed how they are currently faced with the challenge of robbery by unidentified people who mainly target the drone cars. The chairman of WUTOF, Khalifan Musaja Lumbwa Salongo, in an interview with Channel 44, who noted that so far one suspect has been arrested at Natete police station as the police continues to investigate more cases in connection to this. He also hailed Uganda police for handling the matter urgently. Khalifan in the same way has cautioned parents and students to be vigilant about conmen and thugs who normally take advantage of the back-to-school period and snatch students' belongings, both in taxi parks and taxis.
Ababbi banagala banywezaamu omulimu gwaffe baagala bulungi baatandika mpola naye kati bafuuse ekizibu naye twafunye omukisa olwaleero ne tukwatayo abantu gabali basatu bali ku poliisi y'Enatete abadde bakuba abantu kalifuni ne bakka emmotoka bwe balemererwa okuba omusaabaze ate batwala mmotoka naye emmotoka gye tubakutte nayo atuli bamuleko sibo y'Enatete era tumwebaza kuva ku biragiro ebimukamalo bye bamuwadde okumutuukako amangu n'ayamba era epaakinzi awo tusaba abamamu ne bannatakisi mwenna okusinziira oli ku bibadde boogera yetagibwa okupolisi embuzi ebisomo emmotoka yakwatibwa nayo emmotoka mpya droni yeeri n'abantu bemulumiriza okulira mukyala we ezaalikola so kati fe twafunye omukisa awo fe twagala tutandikire nga batakisi okumalawo obubbi bwonna era twasaba dda fete ekyatuleeta mu sikola bizinesi tulina okulwanira omulimu gwaffe nebyokulumya abannayuganda wamu n'abazadde n'abaana baffe kubanga ffena abaana baffe batambulira mu takisi ne bagenda ku masomero agaati ekisookera ddala ffe abawutofu tukolagana bulungi nnyo ne security era twongedde amaanyi security oyinza okuba nga gwolaba togiraba naye bawulirire ffe tugenda kubawa obuyimasimu agabuvunaanyizibwako ku mapaaka ag'enjawulo gonna ge tuvunaanyizibwako n'obudde ewa tusobole okubanga tulwanira wamu naye tulinayo amagezi amalala getusaba abantu ti abantu bonna abalina essimu nga zikuba ebifaananyi bw'olinnye emmotoka gwe kuba obukubi ennamba kuba obukubi ekifaananyi kimu nga bw'okuba ekifaananyi ekirala onootuweereza ffe bw'oba tewali buzibu totuweereza naye bw'oba nakyo tuyinza okutuuka omu nga weereza eki oba ne bakukwatiramu oluusi n'alimu nga wa takisi naye neyegattako kati abo oba otuyambidde ddala kuba bwe tukwata abantu 10 obumenyi bw'amateeka tuba tubumaze.
Well, let's have a look at today's fuel prices at different fuel pumps in the country. Stay tuned to Channel 44. We are bringing you international business news update. Stay tuned. Tuned to Channel 44. If you are a motorist, I hope you have seen where to buy fuel at lower affordable prices. Alternatively, you can fuel at any fuel pump, knowing that here at Channel 44 we've brought you the different fuel prices. Now, in our international news update, car makers Renault and Nissan have agreed to restructure their long-standing partnership with French company whittling down its stake in the Japanese firm to 15%. Under the agreement, Renault will transfer 28.4% of its shares in the Yokohama-based company to a French trust, Voting rights for that stake will be neutralized for most decisions, Nissan said in a statement, although Renault will continue to reap the financial benefits from the shares unless they are sold. Renault and Nissan will retain each a 15% stake in another's business through a cross-shareholding agreement with voting rights. Previously, Nissan had held a 15% non-voting stake in the French company, while Renault owned about 43% of Nissan. The move marks a significant milestone in the 24-year-old auto alliance. In 1999, both car makers have worked in tandem alongside junior partnership Mitsubishi Motors, and the collaboration has typically allowed the companies to share production and technology and ultimately save billions of dollars a year. Elsewhere, mining giant Rio Tinto has apologized for losing a tiny radioactive capsule that went missing as it was being transported across Western Australia. An emergency hunt for the device, which is about the size of a pea, is underway along the 1,400-kilometer route. The capsule contains a small quantity of radioactive cesium-137, which could cause serious illness to anyone who comes into contact with it. That includes skin damage, burns, or radiation sickness. Emergency services are searching for the device using radiation detectors and other specialized equipment. Australia's Department of Fire and Emergency Services say the silver capsule, which is just 6 millimeters in diameter and 8 millimeters long, was so small it might have become lodged in the tire of a vehicle passing along the road. Moving on, the company owned by Asia's richest man, Gautam Adani, has issued a detailed rebuttal of allegations of wrongdoing by short seller Heidenberg Research. In a document which runs to more than 400 pages, Adani Group says the report is a calculated attack on India. Later yesterday, Hindenburg said Adani failed to specifically answer 62 out of 88 questions detailed in its report. Adani Group, an Indian conglomerate, had more than $50 billion wiped off its stock market value last week. It also said that it had complied with all local laws and made the necessary regulatory disclosures. Well, that brings us to the second break of our 44 Business News. We bring you today's forex rates and know where to get the dollar, know how the dollar is performing against major world currencies here in Channel 44 Business News. Welcome back. Still in our international business news highlight, a federal prosecutor said that FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried contacted the former general counsel of the crypto trading platform earlier this month in a move they say may constitute witness tampering. A spokesperson for Bankman-Fried declined to comment. Prosecutors with the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York asked the judge to amend Bankman-Fried's bail conditions to prohibit him from communicating with current or former employees of the FTX or its sister hedge fund Alameda Research unless he is with his attorney or has approval from the government. They also want the judge to block Bankman-Fried from using any encrypted communication devices out of concerns he will obstruct the ongoing investigations. Prosecutor said in a letter to the judge that Bankman-Fried contacted the former general counsel of FTX on January the 15th using Signal and email, stating he would really love to reconnect and see if there is a way for them to have a constructive relationship, use each other's resources when possible, or at least vet things with each other. And in New York, a coalition of Republican-led states is suing the U.S. Labor Department to block an imminent rule 401k managers to consider climate change and other environmental, social, and governance ESG factors when selecting investments. The coalition, led by Utah Attorney General Sean Reyes, argues that Labor Department rule violates federal law, would put trillions of dollars of retirement savings at risk, and is being driven by political ideology. The lawsuit was filed by 25 states, almost all of them led by a Republican governor. The two states led by Democrats, Kentucky and Louisiana, have Republican attorney generals. The final rule, announced in November, is scheduled to take effect on January the 30th. The rule was aimed at removing restrictions imposed by the Trump administration by clarifying that retirement account managers can consider climate change and ESG factors when they select investments and exercise shareholder rights, such as proxy voting. Well, that brings us to the end of this afternoon's business news. Thank you for watching Channel 44. I remind you, we are still helping the people of Karamoja. Therefore, join us by sending your seed to the numbers that will be availed during the services. Alternatively, you can bring your seed to the Miracle Center Cathedral, the church reception. You'll be given a receipt for accountability. Or you can bring it during the services. Pastor Robert Kayanja will be praying for whoever will be sowing their seed, and you'll be tremendously blessed. There is going to be a revival service tonight here at the Miracle Center Cathedral. Come for dream interpretation, come for deliverance sessions, come for healing, come for the word. Come and be revamped in prayer, your spirit, and you will never remain the same again. God bless you. Enjoy the Big Tunes program, which is up next here on Channel 44.